with the power of the president's words and how they may have inspired some of his supporters to violence and possibly the insurrection at the Capitol. ABC's Elwin Lopez has more.
The deadly siege on Capitol Hill, a stark reminder of President Trump's rhetoric.
We're going to walk down to the Capitol because you'll never take back our country with weakness.
Smart as Kim Jong-un, top of the line. You know, people say, oh, this and that. He took over a country at a very young age, and he has total dominant control.
Knock the crap out of him. I'd like to punch him in the face.
I don't condone violence.
I don't know if I'll do the fighting myself or if other people will.
Maybe you should have been roughed up.
If you see somebody getting ready to throw a tomato, knock the crap out of him, would you? Seriously. I'd like to punch him in the face, I'll tell you.
In the good old days, this doesn't happen because they used to treat them very, very rough. And when they protested once, you know, they would not do it again so easily.
Sean Hannity did an interview with, I guess it's fair to call him vigilante, Curtis Sliwa, the Guardian Angels fame. It's basically a vigilante group that they would patrol the subways in New York when they were more dangerous decades ago and this sort of thing. This has become increasingly an anti-immigrant group. During an interview with Sean Hannity, Curtis Sliwa, in talking about migrants and the prepaid cards for migrants that are happening in New York City and all this other stuff, Curtis Sliwa says to Sean Hannity, we got one of them right now. It turns out that what they got was just an American speaking Spanish, not someone who is here illegally. And you could argue that the Guardian Angels, in beating this dude, engaged in a hate crime live on Fox News.
A few days ago, I called the fake news the enemy of the people, and they are.
But recently, it was the commander-in-chief's baseless claims of voter fraud that raised concerns, even among election officials.
Someone's going to get hurt, someone's going to get shot, someone's going to get killed.
The president may not be directly responsible for the acts of violence conducted by some of these individuals, but his words do provide them the validation.
It's true with stars that they can grab women by the...
Well, that's what it's. If you look over the last million years, I guess that's been largely true. Not always, but largely true. Unfortunately or fortunately. I moved on her, and I failed. I'll admit it.
Whoa.
I did try and fuck her. She was married.
That's huge news there.
No, Nancy.
Yeah.
No, this was marriages. And I moved on her very heavily. In fact, I took her out furniture shopping. She wanted to get some furniture. I said, I'll show you where they have some nice furniture. I took out furniture. I moved on her like a bitch, but I couldn't get there. And she was married. Then all of a sudden, I see her. She's now got the big phony tits and everything. She's totally changed her look. I better use some Tic Tacs just in case I start kissing her. You know, I'm automatically attracted to beautiful. I just start kissing them. It's like a magnet. You just kiss. I don't even wait. And when you're a star, they let you do it. You can do anything.
Whatever you want.
Grab them by the grab them by the pussy.
You want.
You can do anything.
Pull the ham.
Hello, how are you? Hi.
President Trump, you first. Just now, President Putin denied having anything to do with the election interference in 2016. Every U.S. intelligence agency has concluded that Russia did. My first question for you, sir, is who do you believe? My second question is, would you now, with the whole world watching, tell President Putin, would you denounce what happened in 2016, and would you warn him to never do it again?
People came to me, Dan Coates came to me, and some others. They said they think it's Russia. I have President Putin. He just said it's not Russia. I will say this. I don't see any reason why it would be, but I really do want to see the server. So I have great confidence in my intelligence people, but I will tell you that President Putin was extremely strong and powerful in his denial today.
Thank you.
Now, let's go to the US now. And the White House has described comments by Donald Trump about NATO as appalling and unhinged. He said he would encourage Russia to attack NATO members who don't meet their financial obligations to the Western military alliance. NATO members have agreed to spend 2% of their GDP on defense. Mr. Trump made the comments during an election campaign rally in South Carolina on Saturday. Take a listen.
NATO was busted until I came along. I said, everybody's going to pay. They said, well, if we don't pay, are you still going to protect us? I said, absolutely not. They couldn't believe the answer. They asked me that question. One of the presidents of a big country stood up and said, well, sir, if we don't pay and we're attacked by Russia, will you protect us? I said, you didn't pay? You're delinquent? He said, yes, let's say that happened. No, I would not protect you. In fact, I would encourage them to do whatever the hell they want. You got to pay. You got to pay your bills.
Is Donald Trump really a fascist, as some would say? Or is the word authoritarian sufficient? The term fascism is often used loosely, but you can generally identify fascists by their hate of the other, vengeful nationalism, and repression of dissent. Fascists view strong leaders as the means of discovering what society needs. They regard the leader as the embodiment of society, the voice of the people.
I am your voice. I alone can fix it.
Stoking rage against cultural elites. Authoritarian movements cannot succeed without at least some buy-in from establishment elites. While fascist movements often seek to co-opt the establishment, they largely depend on fueling resentment and anger against presumed cultural elites for supposedly displacing regular people. Fascists rile up their followers to seek revenge on the elites.
The out-of-touch media elites, the political elites, but the elites from the elites.
They create mass political parties and demand participation. They encourage violence.
You know what they used to do to guys like that when they were in a place like this? They'd be carried out on a stretcher, folks. Like to punch him in the face, I'll tell you. Knock the crap out of him, would you?
And we fight. We fight like hell.
Third, nationalism based on superior race and historic bloodlines. For fascists, the state embodies what is considered a superior group based on race, religion, and historic bloodlines. To fascists, the state is a means of asserting that superiority.
When Mexico sends its people, they're not sending their best. They're not sending you. They're not sending you.
Fascists worry about disloyalty and replacement by groups that don't share the same race or bloodlines. Fascists encourage their followers to scapegoat, expel, and sometimes even kill such others. Fourth, extolling brute strength and heroic warriors. Fascism depends on organized bullying, a form of social Darwinism. For the fascist, war and violence are means of strengthening society by culling the weak. Fascism's idea of order is organized around a particular hierarchy of male dominance. The fascist heroic warrior is male. Women are relegated to subservient roles. Strength, violence, and the heroic warrior are centered on male power. These five elements find exact expression in Donald Trump. His uniquely American version of fascism is rooted largely in white Christian nationalism.
President Xi is a brilliant man. President Xi, very good conversations. I liked him a lot. It was a great chemistry we had. We talked about everything. If you went all over Hollywood to look for somebody to play the role of President Xi, you couldn't find it. There's nobody like that. The look, the brain, the whole thing. How smart is Kim Jong-un? Top of the line. You know, people say, oh, this and that. He took over a country at a very young age, and he has total dominant control.
Kim, he's quite a guy. We shook hands.
He wrote me beautiful letters. We fell in love.
Putin, very smart.
He liked me, I liked him. I mean, you know, he's got a lot of great charm and a lot of pride, and he loves his country. You know, he loves his country.